Deep in the South Island of rugged and beautiful New Zealand lies a hiking trail and classic New Zealand Great Walk, described as being awe-inspiring and designed to showcase all the best features of Fiordland: mountains, forest, waterfalls and glacier-carved valleys. Good morning. It is that time again, time to head out on another multi-day walk. So I am still over in New Zealand. I'm currently down on the South Island, just out from Tianui, and I have both of my beautiful parents over on this one. So the trail we're going to be doing is the Kepler. It's going to be about 3 days. The weather looks absolutely stunning at the moment, so let's head on out there. Having been a few weeks since I'd finished hiking Te Aroa, New Zealand's national trail, and a few months since I had been home, it was time to get back out on track, and this time would be joined by my parents, who had flown across from Australia to share in a bit of the magic that is the incredible natural landscape of South Island, New Zealand.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
This particular Great Walk is quite easy to access, with a short drive from the west coast town Tianui, or without a vehicle by a water taxi. The Kepler track is a 60-kilometre circuit track and typically undertaken as a 3-day, 2-night walk, staying in either huts or campgrounds along the way. For us, it would be the latter. Walking onto the track over a swing bridge, the crystal clear green water and fairy forests of Fiordland are really something special. I've walked many places across Australia and even overseas, and whilst New Zealand might not boast the beautiful reds, dusty spinifex or bushy eucalypt spotted sunrises of many of my home trails, the ferns and mossy undergrowth here present a real world of their own. The first day's walk is just over 22 kilometres from the Rainbow Reach car park to the Iris Burn hut and campground, crossing bridges, wandering through forest, and passing by beautiful lakefront huts to stop for lunch on the water. The afternoon past creeks, shaded and much too cold to relax in, but probably ideal on a warmer day for what would be a very fresh and refreshing forest dip. Through open fields, and reaching camp for the night, looking up at the elevation we would climb tomorrow. The hut here is beautiful, undoubtedly, modern and perfectly fitted to the environment, but also crowded, and you can bet would have a few people snoring all night long. In an open grassy field ringed by glacier-cut mountains, I'd much rather pitch a tent. Put together a classic trail dinner well earned after a day's walk. And watch the colours catch in the clouds, then drop into the hills for the night. Day 2 would wind up out of the valley, looking through tree clearings down to where we had walked the day prior. This elevated environment again boasting stunning creeks and a layer of green over near everything in the constantly cool, damp climate. The trail is fantastic, clearly well maintained and easy to see and follow, but steep and relentless in its climb, pushing through switchbacks directly up to break above the tree line into a completely exposed alpine landscape. One thing about New Zealand's weather is that it will always be changeable. No matter how well you plan, it's not uncommon to experience 4 seasons in a day. And from sunshine to freezing gusty winds and rain, that's exactly what we experienced, following along a Razorback-style ridgeline towards the Hanging Valley Alpine Shelter. Freezing gusts pushing packs about and blowing against rain jackets, but keeping warm with a steady climb upstairs, admiring views now down over Lake Tianu and the exposed sweeping ridgelines. Then to shelter in the crowded bivvy for a lunch of tea, avocado biscuits and peanut butter wraps. The first multi-day trail I had walked together with my parents, or really first proper multi-day hike for any of us, had been the Overland Track back home in Australia, down in the pretty little island state of Tasmania. It's one that must be pre-booked well in advance, and after travel and transfers and buying gear that as first-timers we really had little clue about, the alpine weather of our first day's walk had come in truly disastrous. Despite being summer, it had snowed, bringing hail, fresh ice, and gale-forced winds over similar alpine environments that were quite the spectacular start to our hiking adventures. Later, in Western Australia with my mum, I had climbed Bluff Knoll. With a good forecast, waking in the dark to walk the summit track for sunrise, we'd broken above the tree line to intense winds and freezing temperatures amongst the clouds. Being the only place in the state to get snow, it felt awfully close to it, and pretty in character for our luck. Absolutely missing that rain. Freezing cold. Not the best weather to be on trail. Now, back on trail along the icy alpine ridges of New Zealand, I couldn't help but think this seemed about right. That we were set to get the full welcome of New Zealand's weather experience no matter what. And maybe in a different life we'd be on holiday sitting in a hotel or cafe, or climbing a mountain on a gondola instead of with a pack. But it is family that had given me my love for the outdoors, and will always be special to share it with them. Wind, rain, hail or shine. There is a second emergency shelter on the trail, the Forest Burn Bivvy, then a cloudy descent down past the hugely popular and very modern Luxmore Hut overlooking Lake Tianu. Stopping here will put you at a steady 14.6 kilometres walk for the day. Or, by adding a further 8.2 kilometres like us, will bring you to near 23 for the day. Out of alpine conditions and back down to camp on the lake, by the Broad Bay Shelter and Campsite. Weather clearing at lower elevation with rainbows shining through, we traced back through Forest Trail. Under rocky cliffs, and back into the mossy maze of twisted green vegetation. Camping here is about as close to the definition of waterfront as you can get. Pitching tents right on the sand, drying out gear, and listening to little waves crash into the cloudy evening sunset. With day breaking stunning colours would bring in our final morning. A much appreciated change to the rain. It is possible from here to end your walk and take a water taxi back to town. Or for us would be a gentle 15-kilometre walk.
Okay, we are off.
Last day on the Kepler.
The crew are ready.
Returning along the lake and then river, through mossy forest, and back finally to cross the green water and suspension bridge where we had started. Another fantastic trail for the books, albeit a little colder and cloudier than hoped, but as promised, a real gem of natural New Zealand. Now off to a shower, a real bed, some warmer weather, and naturally to plan the next adventure.